Thank you so much, Fabricio. I hope I'm loud and clear. And thank you for reminding me about the time limit, which is right over here. Uh, we've entered the last segment of this two-day conference. We've had some extensive deliberations and discussions on the implementation and challenges of the emission norms in India. Good to see so many people staying back for the last segment. AdBlue definitely is an important part of the emission norms implementation, being an integral part of the SCR systems. My presentation today is on the best practices for distribution, production and distribution of AdBlue. Uh, I'll be taking through the presentation more from the Indian context, from the experiences that NPL Blue Sky Automotive as a company has obtained over the last few years being in this domain. Before I start with the contents of this presentation, I'd just like to take all of you over here through the activities of NPL Blue Sky in the domain of AdBlue. So NPL Blue Sky Automotive is the pioneer of AdBlue manufacturing in India. We set up the AdBlue manufacturing plant way back in 2011 when BS4 was just introduced in India in 13 cities. The company is a joint venture, as Fabricio mentioned, between Nandan Petrochem Limited, Mumbai, and Cruise Automotive, Germany. The objective of setting up this company was to have a focused approach to help the OEMs develop the SCR technology in India by supplying them AdBlue for their research and development, for the factory fill, as well as for the aftermarket. This AdBlue manufacturing plant that we have set up has been set up in Silvassa near Gujarat, and this plant has been imported from Germany. This plant is being used by all joint venture partners of Cruise Automotive. It has a design patent by Cruise, and it is certified by German Automobile Association (VDA) to meet the ISO 22241 specifications. Uh, Saying a few lines about Nandan Petrochem Limited, NPL was founded in 1992, so it's almost 2.5 decades that we've been into existence. Our core business is manufacturing lubricants for automotive and industrial applications. We started off as a toll blending company, manufacturing lubricants for almost all the multinational lubricant companies which are present in India. Over the years, we've become one of the major suppliers to some of the few well-established OEMs manufacturing engines, automotive vehicles, off-highway equipment, and so on and so forth. Cruise Automotive is a part of the larger Stockmeyer Group, which was founded in 1920. Stockmeyer Group turnover is about 1.25 billion euros, of which Cruise Automotive constitutes roughly about 20%. Cruise has a market share of about 25 to 30% of the German agro market, which is quite a substantial market share in a mature market like Germany. They offer custom-made dispensing and packaging solutions, as also in-house fleet of tank trucks for timely supplies for bulk deliveries. Being present in the domain of AdBlue right at the start of the introduction of BS4 emission norms, as well as the SCR technology in India, uh, we supported the OEMs right through the development stages. And I'm happy to share that almost all the commercial vehicle manufacturers have entered into exclusive tie-ups with NPL for sourcing their AdBlue both for the factory fill as well as for the aftermarket. We're currently supplying AdBlue to OEMs like Tata Motors, Volvo Eicher, MAN Trucks, Mahindra Trucks and Buses, as also to SCR equipment manufacturers like Cummins, Bosch, and Albonair, which use the AdBlue for using it as a first fill to sell along with the equipment which they sell to OEMs like Ashok Leyland. We also supply AdBlue to a state transport undertaking based in Bangalore, which is the BMTC, Bangalore Metropolitan Transport Corporation, the largest consumers of AdBlue. They invested in fleet modernization way back in 2011, being the first STU to do that, and they have the largest fleet of STU vehicles, SCR vehicles today on the road. So coming to the contents of our presentation today, my presentation is broadly divided into three topics, which is manufacturing, distribution, and opportunities and potential for the AdBlue market in India. Under manufacturing, I will be taking you through the two widely used manufacturing processes of AdBlue, the quality requirements of AdBlue solution, along with the urea and water specifications as defined in the ISO 22241 standards, as well as the storage and handling solutions of AdBlue. The distribution segment will cover topics including evolution of AdBlue distribution in Europe, the key takeaways and the lessons that we can incorporate for developing the distribution network in India, the various dispensing solutions which are available for the industry, as well as the IT linkages to the distribution network, which are possible for making the consumers more aware about the availability of AdBlue. I will end the presentation with some insights on the consumption pattern of AdBlue in a commercial vehicle, along with the overall market size that we as a company forecast till 2020, and the various challenges that we foresee that we will be facing in the near future. So I start with the manufacturing. Sure. So AdBlue dissolving plants will be the way ahead to make AdBlue available in India. Automotive grade urea needs to be imported from international markets, which are having surplus capacity and will be able to cater to the Indian AdBlue requirements. So the non-integrated process is the process which is followed by NPL and by all cruise automotive partners around the world to manufacture AdBlue. The first step of this process is the manufacture of deionized water from raw water by passing the raw water through a multi-stage filtration process and followed by the reverse osmosis mechanism. The deionized water is then heated to about 60 degrees Celsius, as the urea dissolution process is an endothermic process, and it is transferred to the blending tank. The automotive grade urea is charged to the blending tank, and agitation takes place for about 45 to 60 minutes. After thorough agitation, a sample is drawn and sent to the laboratory for complete analysis as per the ISO 22241 standards. Once the laboratory confirms that the product meets the specifications as defined in ISO 22241, the product is transferred into a storage tank by passing through a 5-micron filter. This product is then filled in various pack sizes as per the customer requirements from time to time. As described earlier, AdBlue quality is governed by ISO 22241 standards. Part 1 of the standard defines the specification, which consists of 18 parameters to be checked to comply to these standards. The main properties which are impacted by the quality of urea are urea content, alkalinity, biuret, and aldehydes. The metallic ions such as calcium, iron, magnesium, copper, etc. are found in raw water and are undesirable in the manufacture of AdBlue. Density and refractive index determine whether the concentration of urea solution is appropriate as per the specification. Here I would like to highlight the difference in fertilizer urea and automotive urea. We have compared the specifications of fertilizer urea as defined in Indian Standards 5406 with the specifications which are defined in ISO 22241 for the automotive grade urea. If you look at the table, there are two major differences between these two grades of urea. One is the biuret content and the other is the aldehyde. Biuret is an impurity in the urea, which is and this is produced due to an undesirable side reaction during the manufacture of urea. The Indian standards specify a maximum limit of 1.5%, while as the limit is much more stringent at 0.8% for the automotive grade urea. As mentioned earlier, urea manufactured in India through public and private enterprises is the fertilizer grade urea. This fertilizer grade urea is granular in nature and is coated with formaldehyde and neem powder to prevent agglomeration of urea for ease of spreading on the agricultural land, as also to contain the nitrogen in the urea for better crop yields. This grade of urea is not suitable for the manufacture of AdBlue. Aldehyde content in AdBlue is absolutely undesirable as it gets emitted along with the exhaust gases and may cause severe health hazards due to its carcinogenic properties. Automotive urea with zero biuret and aldehyde content is preferable for manufacturing good quality AdBlue. The second most important raw material for manufacturing AdBlue is the deionized water. Again, we compare the IS specification, Indian standard specification for drinking water, with the specifications of deionized water as mentioned in the ISO 12241 standards. We'll go to the graphical of the difference in the specification. If you see from the slide over here, metallic ions like calcium, magnesium, the limits in drinking water as specified in the Indian standards is much higher as compared to the limits which are defined in the ISO standards. We've also compared the conductivity, which is a measure of the total mineral content of in the water. The conductivity of deionized water is about 5.5 microsiemens per meter, whereas that of drinking water is between 5,000, anywhere between 5,000 to 50,000 microsiemens per meter. In our manufacturing process, we maintain the conductivity of deionized water below 2 microsiemens per meter to ensure that the water is absolutely pure in nature. So what are the main properties of deionized water? Deionized water is a multi-stage production of deionized water is a multi-stage process which is required to make the deionized water. Deionized water is made by running water through an electrically charged resin. The deionized water is reactive. Properties change as soon as it is exposed to air. It should definitely not be consumed as it lacks minerals and the water is corrosive and could cause damage. And in the end, deionized water is as pure as distilled water. AdBlue is a very sensitive product and is susceptible to easily susceptible to contamination. The quality of AdBlue has to be maintained throughout the supply chain, from the selection of raw materials to the manufacturing process to storage, handling, transportation, till the end consumption point at the customer shop. Some of the important aspects to be considered for storage, handling, and transportation of AdBlue are as follows. AdBlue is corrosive to non-ferrous metals, their alloys, and carbon steel. It should be blended, stored, and refilled in compatible materials. AdBlue should be stored in plastics without additives and only specific types of steel. AdBlue should be stored in the manufacturer's original container. AdBlue should ideally be stored within a temperature range between 0 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius and kept under covered roof with good ventilation protected from direct sunlight. This is an absolutely important aspect from the storage and handling perspective of AdBlue. AdBlue quality deterioration could be a major risk to the SCR system as it could damage it. The storage area must be clean and free from dust to avoid any contamination, especially when a vehicle is being filled with AdBlue. It is a colorless and transparent and non-hazardous chemical liquid. It's safe even if it spills on the body or clothes. AdBlue if spilled on the ground will do the work of a fertilizer. When using AdBlue, there is no need to wear protective clothing. However, wearing gloves is advisable to prevent irritation to sensitive skin. So what happens when you use poor quality AdBlue or contaminated AdBlue? What are the implications of using a wrong AdBlue? Contaminants are the biggest cause of damage to an SCR system, and the repair costs are expensive. The major components that can be damaged include the AdBlue dosage pump, the urea injector, and the catalyst. These components contribute around 60 to 70% of the SCR system cost. When the catalyst gets damaged, NOx conversion does not effectively take place, leading to non-conformity with the BS norms, thus leading to engine torque reduction in the OBD2 systems. So I move on to the distribution aspect of my presentation. So Talking about distribution, let me cover a few slides on the development of the distribution AdBlue distribution network in Europe. Today, AdBlue market in Europe is quite mature, and it is distributed throughout the width and breadth of Europe through various channels and in various packaging and dispensing solutions. AdBlue is available in Europe since October 2006 after the introduction of Euro 4. As per the website findadblue.com, which is operated by Integer Research, there are around 6,700 AdBlue dispensing units all over Europe and around 10,900 other supply points which have been listed on the website. To meet the Euro 4 to Euro 6 norms, most of the major European truck makers are offering SCR-equipped vehicles in Europe. AdBlue is available in Europe via fuel centers, dealer network of the AdBlue manufacturer, OEM service centers, garages, or direct supplies to transporter with large fleets. Since the introduction of Euro 6, even passenger cars have been equipped with SCR after-treatment devices, but the consumption of AdBlue in the passenger cars is very less as compared to the heavy-duty segment. So normally AdBlue is refilled at during the oil change or servicing in passenger cars. Online portal also exists, which provides exact location to customers where AdBlue is available. This is a very interesting slide, which has been picked up from the data of Integer Research. When Euro 4 was implemented in Europe, the AdBlue volumes, were very negligible. They stood at around 50,000 metric tons per annum. As the SCR vehicle park increased in Europe with the effective implementation of the emission norms, the AdBlue consumption kept on steadily increasing to reach about 1.8 million metric ton by the end of 2012. This slide shows the forecast of AdBlue consumption in Europe. As per Integer data, AdBlue is forecast to reach about 7 billion liters by 2024 with the addition of passenger cars and non-road mobile machines added to the SCR park along with the growth in the commercial vehicle sales. If you see the growth of consumption in AdBlue, the green part over here is the consumption of the commercial vehicles, gray represents the consumption passenger cars, and blue represents the consumption in the NRMM segment. If you see gradually from 2017 onwards, the growth in consumption of AdBlue is increasing more in the passenger car segment and the NRMM segment, while as the CV segment is showing a linear kind of a growth for AdBlue consumption. Coming to the models of passenger cars which are fitted with the SCR after treatment device, as per the ASEA website, in 2012 there were only about 27 models which were fitted with the SCR after treatment device. This number has grown exponentially to 399 models in 2016. This again is a very interesting slide and gives a lot of key takeaways in the Indian context of things. This slide compares the breakup of AdBlue sales in different packaging and dispensing options in 2011 and 2016. You will see as the consumption has increased in Europe from 1 million liters, 1 billion liters to 2.7 billion liters in 2016. The AdBlue sales in the small pack has gone down considerably. It has been replaced by bulk dispensing solutions, which were possible due to the economies of scale. The share of cans and bottles reduced from 35% to 6%, while as the share of IBC, bulk deliveries, and dispensing pumps increased to 32%, 36%, and 25% respectively. In India, we expect the same trend to follow. Currently and the near future, till the volumes remain low, AdBlue is made available in small packs and drums for retail and fleet customers. As the consumption increases with increased SCR vehicle park, Dispensing solutions at workshops and fuel retail outlets will play a major role for AdBlue refilling. So, what are the key takeaways, key learnings for India from the European experience of the development of the distribution network? We believe that similar to Europe, OEMs will play a major role in making the AdBlue available to their customers through their network of franchise workshops as also the spare part distributors in the initial phase. Today, most of the OEMs have their own spare parts department which complement the service team to make available various spare parts, lubricants, and AdBlue will be one more product which will be added, which has already been added to many of the OEM's spare parts portfolio. Since the SCR vehicle park would grow gradually, the OEMs are in a better position to track the sales in different geographies and make the product available in that market. I'm happy to share that almost all the commercial vehicle OEMs present in India have already taken this initiative and have developed multiple pack sizes to suit their customers' requirements. As mentioned earlier, NPL has partnered with almost all the major commercial vehicle OEMs to make this AdBlue available to their customers. Understanding the potential for AdBlue sales, a few lubricant companies, including us, are making this product available through the pan-India distribution network in the geographies where STR vehicles are currently being sold. The pace of this development of this distribution channel will increase from the second quarter of the next fiscal year 17-18 when more trucks will start coming on the roads with HCR systems. As of today, the SCR vehicle park majorly comprises of the buses. There are only very few trucks which have been registered with the SCR systems. Another important distribution channel is the network of aftermarket auto component suppliers like Bosch, Lucas, etc. These automotive aftermarket companies sell thousands of parts to their extensive distribution network across the breadth and width of the country and have already started showing keen interest in introducing one more part in the form of AdBlue to leverage their strong distribution network. Last but not the least is the most important point of sale for AdBlue, that are the fuel retail outlets. Since AdBlue is consumed along with the diesel consumption, it makes logical sense to have AdBlue available at the point of refilling diesel. Initially, small packs will have to be made available. Post 2020, after the introduction of BS6 and a sizable SCR vehicle park, hopefully, feasibility of installing dispensing pumps at retail outlets will have to be explored. Our German partners, Cruiser Automotive, have a lot of experience of managing the AdBlue infrastructure at the fuel retail outlets with Internet of Things based supply chain network to make the AdBlue available at all times at each retail outlet. Coming to the pack sizes in India, currently 200-liter barrels are the most widely used packaging option. This pack is being supplied to the OEMs and fleet customers. There is a possibility of supplies in IBCs to the OEMs as the volume increases. However, we will have to wait and see about their preferences. IBCs generally are not used in big numbers in India, and 200-liter barrels are the more preferred bulk packs. Then there's the option of also introducing the 55-liter drums as it is used in the lubricant industry, which will also be used for the fleet customers. For the retail channel, the 10-liter, 20-liter, and 26-liter will be the major pack sizes for catering the heavy-duty requirement of AdBlue. Post 2020, as passenger cars would come with the SCR technology, pack sizes as low as 5 liters will have to be made available. Along with various packaging options, NPL offers a range of dispensing solutions to all our customers. These are dispensing equipment for OEM first fill requirement to mini bulk systems for small fleet operators. We have already supplied dispensing equipment to some OEMs for their first fill requirements. These dispensing equipment are highly customizable depending on the customer requirement. They come with flow meters and auto cut-off nozzles. The small bottle that you see on the top right over here is quite famous for the passenger car AdBlue refilling market in Europe and the US. It has a unique mechanism of spill-free dispensing, and the AdBlue is dispensed only when the bottle is screwed on the AdBlue tank in the vehicle. We also provide such spill-proof spouts along with the 10-liter and 20-liter containers, which ensure zero contamination and spill-proof dispensing of AdBlue. One of our OEM partners is seriously considering the option of introducing these spill-proof spouts along with their packaging options for their customers. In today's age of internet of internet and smartphones, IT linkages to AdBlue distribution will help consumers locate the nearest AdBlue stock point. We've seen the startup evolution in India, where the internet is, being used effectively to make the daily life of Indians, uh, very easy and very convenient. Integer Research has successfully done this in Europe and North America through their website findadblue.com. Similar web and mobile-based applications can be developed in India for the benefit of the end consumers. E-commerce platforms can also be explored for the sale of AdBlue. These initiatives for the benefit of the end consumer will need the active participation of all the OEMs. NPL is willing to take the lead in development of such applications to support the industry and the consumers. So coming to the last subject of my presentation, what are the opportunities and potential for the AdBlue market in India? I just quickly go through this segment as I see that my time's almost up. So I start with the AdBlue consumption per commercial vehicle in India. As per our discussions with several OEMs, SCR will be offered in buses above 12 tons and in trucks above 16.2 tons. A bus on an average covers 6,000 kilometers per month, while a heavy-duty truck covers about 9,000 kilometers. The average fuel economy is between 3 and 4 kilometers per liter of diesel fuel. As per our experience for the last few years, AdBlue consumption in bus is about 3 to 4% of the diesel consumption, while as according to the OEMs, the AdBlue consumption in the truck would be around 4 to 5%, going to as high as about 6% as well. We've considered the midpoints of these averages for the consumption potential per month per vehicle. As such, the monthly requirement of AdBlue per bus comes to around 53 liters, and that of a truck comes to 101 liters. Considering that a 26-liter pack would be a fast-moving pack because of certain cost advantages in terms of lower excise duties, a bus will require about 2 cans per month, while as a truck would require about 4 cans a month. This implies that the frequency of refill is not going to be very high, and customers can procure 2 to 4 cans in one go and store it in the cabin storage area of the commercial vehicle. If AdBlue is made available through one or more of the channels as discussed earlier, in key hubs and along the key routes in a few outlets, it will be sufficient to meet the requirements of AdBlue for the heavy duty segment. These outlets can be the authorized franchise workshops of the OEMs. These outlets can be the distribution point of the oil companies. These outlets can be the retail outlets of the fuel companies. Based on our discussions with most OEMs, we have been able to make a tentative forecast for AdBlue for BS4 SCR vehicle park till 2020. As per our forecast on paper, the AdBlue market size in India will reach about 80,000 kiloliters per annum by 2020. However, having witnessed the development of this market right since 2011, we have a slightly conservative view on the growth for the next 3-4 years and feel that the AdBlue consumption would only be about 70-75% of the paper forecast. This forecast of market size in India is substantially lower than the market size of AdBlue, which was developed in Europe within 3 years of Euro 4 implementation. Due to various factors and challenges that we're already facing in India and we foresee to face in the near future. The biggest challenge is the acceptance of SCR technology by the customer. Most OEMs have decided to offer both EGR and SCR technologies to the customers. There are definite advantages of SCR over EGR, which has been experienced in Europe and North America. However, the high initial cost of the SCR plus the requirement of an additional fluid are deterrents to the acceptance by the end user. As mentioned earlier, the current SCR vehicle park is only a few thousand and is restricted to the buses. So as such, the customer acceptability and the experience on the road is not very extensive. The other big threat to the AdBlue market in India is the availability of cheap devices, also known as OBD emulators, on Indian e-commerce websites. If you see, this is a screenshot of a device which is available on the Indian portal of Amazon.com. It's an AdBlue OBD2 emulator which bypasses the NOx sensor such that in the absence of AdBlue, the engine torque reduction does not take place. It is extremely important that the government steps into ensuring that these devices are banned in the initial stages of implementation of the SCR technology. Once these devices become popular, it will be very difficult to control the sale as seen in other emerging markets like Brazil and China. Another challenge that the Indian market will face is the use of fertilizer urea for AdBlue manufacturing. Since fertilizer urea is subsidized by the government, there are possibilities of fertilizer urea being used by non-BDA and ISO certified blenders. To sum up the presentation, the Indian automotive industry will be a major engine to the India growth story in the coming years. As per the projections of ACMA, both the domestic vehicle production as well as the component manufacturing is poised for huge growth till 2020. As the growth of the automotive, along with the growth of the automotive industry and the successful implementation of BS4 emission norms, there will be an overall growth in the demand for AdBlue. Growth is expected from the second quarter of fiscal year 17-18, considering BS3 inventory liquidation in the first quarter. Installation of multi-locational AdBlue blending plants would be required for optimizing the logistics costs and better servicing of customers. Small packs for retail and drums for mini bulk dispensing for fleet will play a major role till 2020. Post 2020, dispensing pumps at fuel retail outlets will be required. Thank you very much.
Instead of doing a Q&A now, to start